Hi, my name is Autumn Payne, and I'm here speaking today with Stephen Walker. He's a therapist at Middle Way Health, and he's a Buddhist teacher. And he combines a really wonderful perspective of both Eastern philosophy and Western psychology. So, we are covering topics about mental health, and we hope that this is of benefit to people watching. So, thank you for joining us today.
Sure. Glad to be here.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk today about New Year's resolutions. So,
Okay.
a lot of us are making them. And to be honest, I quit making them because I found that I wasn't keeping them. So, I wanted to talk about some practical advice and some viewpoints that might help people keep their New Year's resolutions and create positive things for themselves in 2022.
I believe in New Year's resolutions.
Okay. I love it how you just put it right out there. So tell me why, first of all.
Well, because actually, when we make a strong resolve about anything, we're more likely to accomplish it. The problem is, New Year's resolutions usually aren't that. They're New Year's wishes or New Year's fantasies.
Mm.
So I wish I was, you know, thinner. I wish I was would like to, or I think it'd be a good idea if, or I'm going to make myself, instead of really, creating a real inner world that supports agency and initiative.
So the typical thing is if you go to a gym, January is going to be very busy. They have an increase in memberships. And then, by March or so, usually those memberships, people are kind of not coming anymore.
They're counting on that, I think.
I think they are.
Well, a
um,
lot of times the resolutions, so to speak, which are really fantasies, are perfectionistic.
mm.
Like I'm making a New Year's resolution that you're going to go to the gym every day.
And then you just can't support it.
Yeah, you can't.
But why not? Like what's the things that will set you up for success with having that inner world and making that happen? I know you personally you have a New Year's resolution this year, correct?
Well, I have a number of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what are the types of things you do to ensure that they happen?
Well, I want to actually have a realistic goal, which is probably a little bit under what I think I could actually do,
Hmm.
so that I do have at least some early successes, right?
Hmm. That's smart because, that goes kind of against the viewpoint of shoot for the moon and then fall in the stars somewhere. So you're
Right.
saying like take it down, make it realistic.
So it might be I'm going to go to the gym once a week.
Uh yeah. Yep, that makes a lot of sense instead of saying, "Well, I'm just going to go every other day." And then when you don't do it, then you feel defeated, perhaps.
Also, I start my resolutions before New Year's.
Oh, interesting.
So that way, when the first comes around, I've already been doing it for a month or so.
That's
So
interesting.
then I can say I'm re upping it, re resolving at New Year's.
Okay. So for those listening, you can start a day ahead of New Year's.
Right? You got one day, see it. So I want to see if it is, somewhat sustainable.
Okay.
But I also don't set myself up like, if you're thinking of like eating less. So, for example, I'm not like gorging myself, up to the 31st at midnight and then suddenly, restricting myself like that.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting
Yeah. So a
because
lot of people
yeah.
do that. It's kind of like, this is my last chance to have my whatever or do
Mhm.
whatever. And now I've got to deprive myself of it. So a deprivation model generally isn't that good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess one of my thought processes too was, well, why do I need the first to be the beginning of a good habit? Like if I want to change something, shouldn't I just change it? So is that kind of a similar outlook then, like starting early?
Um, Sometimes starting early and not telling people what you're doing could be
Hmm.
useful.
Yeah.
Um, but at some point, it's useful to ask for support.
Yeah. That makes
So
sense.
let's say I really want to get to the gym at least once a week, which is really a low bar actually. Then I want to advertise it so not only I get the encouragement and support, but maybe remove some obstacles. So you're
Hmm.
announcing like I really need to get there at least once a week, and no matter if I'm doing a workout at home or not, something like that. So the person at home or your family or friends would go, hey, we want to make sure you get get your time, or gee, I'm sorry I scheduled when I knew you were going to go to the gym, so we're going to let you out of some event or something. Or if you say nothing, then um, you're less likely to get the support.
Okay. So in the beginning, when you start a month ahead of time, you're kind of testing the waters, maybe not telling people just to see what is going to work.
Yeah,
And
that's
then you
my
ask for
style.
support.
In the
Yeah.
past, I'd tell people and then there would be a little bit of challenge perhaps.
Hmm. A
Or
challenge
there
is,
might be a failure, it might be an early failure, and then there would be that kind of working through the shame of the failure. I told you so. So
mhm, interesting.
I like to see if I can do something kind of for a month before I might advertise it.
Yeah. Oh,
Not
that's
always. That's not
interesting.
true for everything, but for self
Now,
improvement things, it generally is.
yeah. So what role does discipline play, do you think, in the achievement of New Year's resolutions?
That's a big topic.
Just spring in on the last few minutes.
I think it's about establishing a new habit primarily, and once again, you know, repeating small successes
Hmm.
rather than a big perfectionist leap, or um, pushing yourself. Kind of when people go, well, I'm just going to make myself do something. Usually, then I go, well, I guess you're also going to be ready for your internal pushback, right?
Hmm.
So I don't want to set. I don't want that kind of top-down discipline.
Yeah, so it's more of an incremental approach.
Incremental with smaller successes, and um, not making it a real big self-improvement project, but
So, what's your opinion on the amount of New Year's resolutions you should take on in 1 year? Is one enough? A
well, you can
few?
resolve to keep doing all the smart things you're already doing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's good.
So you get an automatic kind of like you're going in like I'm getting 6 out of 10 already, so I'm already a success. So you ought to just say I'm resolving to keep on doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Otherwise, it'll be like we say in recovery, it was working so well I stopped doing it. So we don't want that.
Yeah, that's a good one. If
Yeah.
anybody
So
has any questions, you can put them in the chat, by the way. But anyway, go ahead,
okay.
continue.
Yeah, I would more than 50% should be continuing to do the things you're doing already.
Yeah, I
So
like
they're
that.
not all new resolutions. Yeah.
Yeah, very good. Okay, well, thank you so much. I love this. Taking it small. I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll give New Year's resolutions one more push and start
Okay.
small.
Yeah, make
Yeah,
them realistic and achievable and measurable, as we say, and when you're billing in therapy. specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time limited, and the joke is billable.
And okay. Is there an acronym for that?
Smart. It's smart.
SMART, yes, the
Yeah.
SMART. Wonderful.
Yeah,
And
it's smart.
Elizabeth is here. She says, what if you really want to change? What happens if you get off track? How can you get back on track?
I think good friends are the most important, where people can help you out. Because if you're really off track, it's hard to just pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
Absolutely.
So, sometimes we really do need a lot of support when we, take a fall, because sometimes we do hit the concrete, and, you don't want it to be just like a fail alone kind of situation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so support, very important.
It is, as like you just want to be a little bit, in my style, a little bit slow about announcing it. Just try to see where you're at, what's a realistic resolution, or a realistic goal, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
You
Okay.
always want more support than challenge.
Oh, yes. I love that part.
So at least have 51% support to your 49% challenge. You don't want 100% challenge.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good.
I always love that 51% thing that you say.
Don't give more than 51%. If you
Yeah.
give too much, that's challenging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You have to have a lot in reserve, actually.
Fill up the gas tank.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to give
See
this
you.
a try,
Ciao.
and we'll see you next
Happy New Year.
time. Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.